So I start today's walk in Trafalgar Square, and it always takes me a bit of time to build my confidence up when I go to capture street photography that focuses more on people and getting closer. So here, I can't resist waiting for a bit near this hoarding for someone to walk through. It's a bit of a cliche, easy image to take, but there's nothing wrong with that in my opinion. I always think that if I'm going to take a photo of a nice background and people walking past it, then it's worth spending a bit more time there to find something that elevates the image a bit. Perhaps by finding the right subject or gesture to make it at least a good cliche photo, if that makes sense. I notice this guy as I'm crossing the street, and I love what he's wearing and his pose, which I think in the moment will make a nice photo. I linger just long enough to get some eye contact that I think really makes the shot work. I told him he looked great, got a big smile, and it was a nice positive interaction to start the day.
You look great. You look great. Cheers.
Heading up into Chinatown is such a fun place to shoot, filled with characters. Nothing special in the shot really, but I did like the look of the guy, and I just pretended I was photographing something else and said I was sorry for getting in the way. And it was a good sort of practice shot to get into the rhythm of taking these kind of candid portraits of people as I walk past. Next, it was time for a quick coffee break. I definitely find caffeine helps me to focus on the street and gets me pumped to shoot. And well, you know, coffee is just delicious. Also, it's a good time to hit the like button, so if you're enjoying the video, then I'd really appreciate that. For me, it's a bit harder to record street photography like this in POV, as moments can happen at any time, and I don't have the GoPro battery life to leave it on all day. But I got a couple of okay shots here, beginning to get a bit closer. People so rarely notice you in London, especially if you shoot with conviction, with a smile and positive body language. I'm always ready to explain what I'm doing, give compliments and have positive interactions. And if anyone ever minds me taking a photo of them, I'll always offer to delete it after showing them my work. Now this moment I really appreciated, and it's definitely the kind of moment I'm looking for when I'm out with my camera. I love trying to capture emotion and those little stories out and about on the street. There's so much to relate to about being a kid in this photo, and all the emotion and ups and downs that come with growing up, and I'm really happy with this one. By the way, I'm using manual focus on all the shots in this video. I've been really enjoying zone focusing recently, perhaps because I've been addicted to Paulie B's awesome walkie-talkie series on YouTube, but by zone focusing I've found that I'm getting a lot better at it, and it's actually easier than relying on autofocus, which is easy to miss when you want a lot of sharp elements in your frame. I noticed this guy with his Jesus is coming sign, and I thought it could make for a great shot, but it needed something else in the frame to really make it a good one. It needed someone to walk past and interact with him in some way, or someone wearing a costume, or just something else really to build out the story a bit, but nothing really materialised. I don't have the best patience, and I often want to just go out and see what's around the next corner, so I didn't spend too much time in this location. But I did notice this kid had a Harry Potter wand which I was trying to capture pointing at the man with the Jesus sign, but I think ultimately it's a bit too subtle a message, and in the end the sign's a bit too far away and the shot's a bit too messy for it to really work. I couldn't resist a quick abstract shot here, capturing the texture of this phone box. Not really what this video is about, but I included it anyway as I love all kinds of street photography. Back up in Soho, and I caught a few shots I liked but missed on the GoPro. I was looking for colours and interesting moments that might tell a story, but you can only capture what's in front of you. All you can do as a street photographer is be alert and be ready, and then go out as much as possible. And over time, you give yourself the best chance to improve and to be in the right place at the right time to capture those magic shots. Here I noticed all these people with the same ice creams, which I thought was a bit weird. Then I discovered that they were all being handed out for free, which then made sense. I realised I needed to get closer and try and capture the action, and although not the best shots in the world, I think they do say a little something about humanity, which is what I'm really trying to start to achieve in my work. I noticed this guy out at the corner of my eye and I really liked the way he was sitting, the colour palette of the image and his pose and the moment as well. So yeah, I couldn't really resist snapping off a shot here. You can always rely on something happening at Piccadilly Circus. There was some kind of demonstration or rally or something going on, and I asked a few people but couldn't really find out what was happening. But it was a really passionate thing, so I got up close and involved and came away with some nice shots. Not that this was necessarily a protest, but I think if you're a beginner looking to get closer to do more documentary style street photography, then events, protests, parades, stuff like that can be a great place to practice and build your confidence and photographing people closer up with a wider lens. Now, I don't think photos of people from behind are very interesting generally, but I always say that if something piques your interest, photograph it anyway, as you never know. Nothing special in these shots, but it was definitely worth capturing for the practice anyway. I think getting closer requires you just doing it. Obviously that's easier said than done, especially if you're a more shy person. But if that's the kind of street photography you want to do, then there's no substitute for just doing it. Snap shots and ask for forgiveness later. Nothing really special about this shot, but I did like the light and the composition. Unfortunately I didn't capture it on the GoPro, but this one is up there with my favourite shots of the day. Just a lovely moment of human emotion, and I also really like the colours, light, composition. Heading back to Piccadilly Circus just for a last walk around before having to head home. I think it's worth mentioning that street photography is very, very hard, and getting a great shot is very rare. If I get a handful of shots I consider great in a year, then I'm pretty happy with that. With that said, just the pursuit of a great shot while connecting with the world we live in and life on the streets is the perfect way to spend time, in my opinion. One last thing to add, always have your camera ready. I was on the way back to the station, just about to put my camera in my bag, when I noticed this guy reading the paper in a cafe. I thought he looked great, his clothing was cool, the light and the colours and the texture of the window, and it was a lovely end to a fun day out shooting a new style of street photography for me. I actually went back to London a week after I recorded this video, and frustratingly I left my GoPro at home, which is really annoying. But even though I couldn't make a video out of it, it was really great to be out for the day focusing solely on the photos, and continuing to try and get a bit closer, taking my work in a new direction. I'll put up some of my favourites from that walk now, and I'd love to know what you think about the images from this video in the comments, as well as the kind of street photography you like to do. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.